All right. Hello. We're here.
Oh, that's dope.
Hi.
That looked fucking cool.
That was sick.
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome
That
back.
was a that was a pretty solid transition you had there.
It's
That was
I didn't even know what I did. I just hit it.
I like that noise it made.
Oh yeah. I guess,
That was
I don't
pretty dope.
really I don't really transition scenes much when I'm doing like gaming stuff. So, uh cool. I'm glad you guys liked it. But
Hell yeah.
in even better news, it's football season and we're back. How you guys feel that we're back?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And the fact that we get to start on week 1 instead of week 9, it's there's a lot more room for error.
Yeah, so for anybody who didn't watch last year or will be watching on YouTube, we kind of spun this idea up about halfway through the season of doing just a straight pick 'em show and just do like a record based competition for a sushi bet.
And we
And
still haven't done yet, by the way.
I bought something for Derek I bought him golf, so we're
Yeah, you bought me
even.
golf.
Oh, okay.
So that was-
Yeah,
that was-
I paid for his round when we played golf
All right.
earlier this year.
I'll get the sushi then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I paid off my portion of the sushi bet via activities. This year we're back. We've changed the name. It's no longer Dissension Cast because I hated
Don't worry,
it.
dissension is not going anywhere.
That is true. There is dissension among us, probably on a lot of this. I have a lot of slander to say about your favorite team. Uh,
Oh my
so we
God.
changed the format up. We're calling it Gridiron Gambit now. I think I like alliteration. So the format for this year is going to be, you can still do a pick 'em. You can pick the over under, or you can pick the spread. We're going to break down every game every week, just like we did last year. The difference is we have to pick one of the types of bets, basically. Pick 'em or money line if you are a Vegas person. Trying to keep it somewhat simple. Over, under, or spread. So we can only pick one of those bet types per game per week. And then Monday night will be worth double points. And we're going to do another competition next week. We'll basically, I think I'm just going to put our point totals next to our names.
I like that. Yeah. Sounds
Just
good.
to see where everybody's at instead of expanding out the spreadsheet. And also it makes it a lot easier to just add up points instead of trying to do records. Because that got all fucked up last year a couple times.
Oh,
Yeah.
at the end, we didn't know how to count.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was
So I'm really excited. I don't think we've really settled on what we're competing for this year yet. I think maybe something to do with our fantasy football league. Maybe like the winner
Ooh.
gets to pick the person's like first round pick next year or something.
good,
Or a keeper and just make it the worst player in like the history of
Yeah,
football.
something
Yeah.
like that. We'll figure. I think something fantasy football related. We'll have more to come on that. So, I'll let Pikadily and Drizzle introduce themselves since it's a new year. Pika, if you want to start.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm Pikadily, or Derek, as I might be referenced on the show
Back and forth
Uh,
multiple times, I'm sure.
many times. Yeah.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure.
I haven't streamed much lately, but I am also a stream guy. I play a lot of the same stuff Rain does, and now I'm here to continue talking about football and hopefully win again. Pretty hype last year. I won by a single point, and I'm hoping.
Me and Rain blew that
Yeah,
so bad.
yeah, we blew that lead.
I had almost a perfect playoff bracket up until the end, and that was incredible.
Yeah, it was a
hoping to do it
magnificent
again.
run. All right, Drizzle?
I'm the Drizzle, or AKA Bryce, which I'm sure you'll probably hear Bryce most of the time. But anyway, I basically played Destiny 2, and that's about it. Um, but I also really love sports, and this is why we're here. We're going to talk about football, and you're going to hear some crazy, outlandish takes, but not as bad as Jerry's.
This is true.
So I saw him in chat. What's up? But we're not going to be as Homer as he is.
Jerry does have some outlandish takes. I hope that he puts them into the chat because I would love to hear what he has to say about every game here. I'm Rain. I stream a little bit of Destiny. I'm kind of on a little hiatus. I'm currently mostly streaming WoW. Also love sports, particularly football. I can't get enough fantasy football. So this is my other very time-consuming passion that I need to somehow make time in my life for. And
7 leagues.
Seven. Yeah. Not to mention all the like sports betting and whatnot that I do as well.
Yeah, but that'll take like a couple minutes, in the morning.
I mean, I take a little bit more than a couple minutes because I do want to win. I don't like just giving money away. So yeah, we won't really talk too much about like individual player props like we talked about. We're just going to break down each game, probably talk a little bit of some player breakdown, which is somewhat fantasy relevant at times, but that's not really the purpose of this show. So with that said, let's start breaking these games down. Very excited for tomorrow night. We get 2 of what are projected to be the top teams in the league in Buffalo and the Los Angeles Rams, defending champions at home. Sean McVay, very good in week 1 games. Both teams are projected, like I said, to be top teams, but their defense and offensive ranks are both top 5 for both teams. So Buffalo is giving 2 with an over-under of 51.5. So Derek, go ahead. And what are your thoughts on this one?
So the Rams are 5-0 in week 1 games under Sean McVay. I feel like this is going to be probably one of the best week 1 games. And it's awesome. And also sucks at the same time that we're starting with this because this is such a hard one to pick.
Yeah.
The last time Josh Allen was in Los Angeles, he threw for 5 touchdowns and 300 plus yards and left for a win. I feel like Von Miller was a big part of the Rams defense, but now he's over with the Bills, and so he's going to be a big part of the Bills defense. I think honestly, like, if it weren't for the coin toss rules last year, I know there's so much controversy around this. I feel like the Bills could have potentially gone on and either potentially won the Super Bowl. Honestly, like that they looked that good.
Yeah.
And it sucks that they essentially lost to the coin toss. And so like I had been reading so many different like football analysis takes on this, and it's so split down the middle that I had such a hard time coming to grips, and I feel like
coming to grips.
Ultimately, I did decide on taking Buffalo, so that is what I'm going with. I have. Why is this not capped there? Nope, that's bug.
Bug?
Can't.
This man can't even operate a spreadsheet. How are we supposed to do 18 weeks of this?
Hey, and that's and he's the one who won last year.
Literally, right, yeah. The first pick of the first game of the first show of the new title.
Listen, I got a new keyboard. My fingers aren't comfortable on it yet.
And he types bug. Bug.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a real close game. This is probably going to be going up and down the field, both sides. It's either going to be a complete shootout, or both defenses are going to just let nothing happen, and the game's going to be just like massively under that 51 point line. But this is too much of like a close game for me to pick one of the other 2 options. I'm going to be honest.
Yep. All right, Bryce.
So seeing a lot of
jump scare the street. What the fuck was that? What's that thing? Fucking demon thing that just
I didn't know if my eyes deceived me, but yeah, I saw that too.
What demon thing? I didn't even see it.
Did a screensaver pop up? What the fuck was that?
On me?
Did you like minimize the browser?
No, where the spreadsheet is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's my background.
Gotcha.
It's because I was switching tabs over.
Scared the
So
shit out of me.
everyone is
I'll keep
talking
jump scaring
about
us.
Buffalo just winning the Super Bowl. Well, that might be the case, but I think they aren't going to start out so hot, and I think the Rams are going to win opening night. No Super Bowl hangover at the beginning of the year.
All right, he's going Rams.
But for the sake of the what we're doing here with the points and changing it up, I am going to take the under.
All right.
I do think 51's a lot. Like, I know both sides have a lot of assets to getting the ball into the end zone, but both defenses are still pretty strong. Like, I don't see it being as much as a shootout that everyone else thinks it's going to be.
Yeah. So
do you want me to type in the number too?
Yeah, just for posterity's sake, and it looks a little nicer.
It does.
So I originally, when I saw this line, I thought I was going to be all over Buffalo. They're kind of like the AFC darlings. They're the odds-on favorite for futures bets to win the Super Bowl. But there's no Tre'Davious White. He's starting the season on the pup. The Bills' secondary is not good. So I don't know if they bring safety help to help with Kupp, then I feel like Allen Robinson is going to just go nuts. And if they don't bring safety help down to help with Kupp, then Kupp's going to go nuts. And
True.
While both defenses are ranked well, I think the Bills' defense and their first 4 games are not very friendly. I think they start with the Rams, then they play the Chiefs, and they basically go through the gauntlet in their first 4 games. So I am actually going to be taking the Rams +2 with the points. I think they win outright. So I will take the points and the extra 2 just in case if they do win in a close game. But I really don't see this going well. Yeah, McVay's 5-0 in week 1 game. Super Bowl champs are 19-3. I think just the emotions of hanging the banner in their home stadium in week 1. And I think they're just a more complete team. Aaron Donald's healthy. Jalen Ramsey's healthy. I think they've added an improvement with Allen Robinson, and Buffalo should be fine. Obviously, I just think their first 4 games are really tough. It might be a slow start to the season for them.
As a former Chicago Bear, I hope Allen Robinson shows how terrible Matt Nagy truly was.
Yeah. As a non-Bears fan who listens to a lot of Chicago radio, I also want nothing but bad things for Matt Nagy's legacy in Chicago. All right, on to the next game.
I should be smiling about that because I'm a Chicago Bears fan. It was bad.
And I will be asking a different person to start every game. This way, the other 2 can't basically go off of their picks. You're still betting the Bills. I mean, sometimes you just got to vibe for a team, and you got to bet the Bills.
I was thinking, just for format purposes, I know we're doing this whole whichever one you pick, that's the points. Where I think just for people following along on who we could still put what team we think we're gonna win, but if someone say Bryce puts he's gonna go with the under on that, if the under doesn't hit, then he wouldn't get any points. Or if your +2 on the Rams doesn't hit, you don't get any points. But just for us to follow along or someone else to follow along, you could still put what team you think is going to win in the pick'em slot, but you just wouldn't get the points if you put something else in one of the other 2 slots.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty easy to notice. Obviously, if I took the under and then you took the Rams the spread, And obviously, if Derek didn't pick the other two, I think that'd be pretty easy. But it's obviously up to you, Rain.
So you just want us to put in like our pick'ems for everything as well?
Yeah. Like still put in the pick'ems. Like maybe we could use that for like just between us, like who's getting the most accurate or something.
That's fine.
But like point wise, if I don't put anything in the over under the spread, then I only get a point for the pick'em.
Right.
If I'd put something like that, basically.
Understood. Yeah, I think that format works.
Yeah.
This way we can still kind of do what we did last year.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
For like the viewers too.
Yeah. So the other cool thing about week 1 is that there's no games that we probably don't want to talk about yet, even when we're talking about the Lions or the Jets. So it's a fresh new year and everybody can be possibly good. Yeah, Moose, it's not draft eve. It's kickoff eve. Yeah.
The day before.
So Philly, another popular betting favorite, a big fantasy favorite of fantasy analysts, and everybody's got Jalen Hurts finishing as a top 5 quarterback. Everybody is waiting for the AJ Brown explosion. Philly favored by 4. Detroit was the Hard Knocks target this year for HBO. Dan Campbell is an insane person.
Also, if you guys haven't watched it, it's actually a good watch. It's a lot of fun. I didn't expect to like it, and I did.
Yeah, I think that they do a great job all the time with the Hard Knock stuff. So I've always enjoyed what they've done. So I think Detroit's going to be much improved this year. I honestly could see them making some noise in the North. I don't know if they get out of the gutter, but I also think that they were competitive last year, and I think they find some more wins this year. So Philly going into Detroit and laying 4, over under a 49. Detroit's offensive line should be a lot better this year. They've got some weapons. They have, I think, a coach in place that is going to make a difference. And I think Philly overachieved last year, and everybody expects them to build on that overachievement. So I am actually probably just going to pick Detroit getting the points in a close game. And I think that Philly probably wins, but I'm going to take the points in a close game. Detroit was like 11-4 against the spread as dogs last year, and I think they're going to be even better this year. Bryce, we'll go to you next.
So speaking of Hard Knocks, the first episode, Dan Campbell says 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, and it is hilarious. I don't know what he was trying to get across, but it made me laugh, and that I think that's when it hooked me too. That guy is insane. He also did.
Uh-oh.
Like,
nope, we're back.
Oh no, what happened?
I just lost you for a second. We're good.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. I hear you.
But my camera's not.
Oh yeah, your camera turned off. That was weird.
Oh.
Where'd it go?
Technical difficulties.
They got up and left. I've been reading this is another game that just it's so topsy turvy on
we're good.
Whether or not fucking Philadelphia is going to be good, Detroit's going to be good. Detroit's been making a lot of moves. They basically just went through a classic rebuild. Just did poorly last season. Replaced a bunch of players, got some new players. I don't want to say that I think highly that they'll perform this year. I think we'll start to see a lot more growth to where they could be good maybe next year or the year after. I don't think they go down the same route of being almost 0-17 like they were last year.
Yeah.
But I I want to choose Philly because it just seems like the right option, but at the same time, I want to give them get a little bit of hope with Detroit, and so for week 1, I'm picking Detroit, and then
Let's
we'll see how
go.
that changes for the rest of the season.
Let's go. All right, Bryce, now that you're back, go for it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Detroit with the point or +4. So I'm gonna take them on the spread. I think it's gonna be a close game.
You want me to fill that out for you? I got you.
Oh yeah. But just speaking on Philly, so Jalen Hurts finished I think the top one of or the 7th quarterback last year in fantasy. So if top 5 is in reach, now he has AJ Brown. I mean, it's feasible that he does do it.
To be very clear, I have many shares of AJ Brown across my 7 leagues, so I kind of go as Philly goes this year.
Yeah.
And I hope that they're good. I hope that as much as it pains me as a Giants fan to say that. So I think you're probably right.
But I do think Philly pulls it off with like a last-second field goal and breaks the heart of the Detroit Lions fans like usual.
All right.
I feel like they got a lot of grit, and they're coming in angry because was it the last year Halloween game, or not Halloween game, but around whenever they played around Halloween, it was like 44-7, 44-6, something like that. Like got blown out by the Eagles.
Yeah, and then the Eagles kind of shit the bed after that.
Yeah. So I have a feeling they're going to come in. They've been gearing up for that all summer, just for the week 1 game.
All right. Well, here's the face-off. For maybe new people here, Pikadily is a 49ers fan. Drizzle is a Bears fan. And we get to have a little face-off here in week 1. So who would like to take this one? I'll let one of you guys break this one down since it's your teams.
I think Bryce, we should talk about your thoughts on how you feel about the Bears right now.
It's a weird feeling, right? Because we have been terrible and in like a terrible we'll just fix something here, the quarterback. I got my quarterback with Nick Foles. Justin Fields can do everything, and then Matt Nagy doesn't know how to run a scheme and like doesn't know how to run an offense. It just was terrible, just terrible. And then the defense was doing too much, from 2018 to last year, and they just stopped caring. It seemed like, from afar at least. Like they won't tell you that, but you could see it on the field. So I do think it's a breath of fresh air, right? So I'm going in with we might be bad or really bad, but there's also hope that usually teams with a new coach sometimes outperform how bad they were going to be and their schedule. We have one of the worst schedules in the league, so if they get 7, 8, 9 wins, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't see it happening. But anyway, I'm gonna pick them to beat your 49ers still.
I mean, it makes sense that you would do that, but you also realize the Niners have one of the best defenses in the league.
True.
And listen, I understand Trey is being hailed as like the 49ers next champion, right? Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that high on him. And this is only like furthered by the fact that Jimmy didn't get traded and is now listed as his backup. Like I was real high on Jimmy, right? And if he didn't get injured, like there's a lot of possibility there that we could have had a Super Bowl within one of the few years, past few years. He was he built up such a good winning culture with the 49ers, and I think one of the things right now is that a lot of people are kind of trying to blame the media if that's getting to Trey's head, because it's a lot of back and forth on they kept him because they don't trust Trey Lance, or that they want him to stay there to kind of guide Trey for the first season he gets to start. But honestly, I think the teams just didn't want Jimmy. Like I had saw that there were like reports of maybe like 2 or 3 teams that had interest and then just kind of dropped it out of nowhere. Um, there were those rumors that like it'd be super hard to work with when he's not like during the off season. Like he doesn't answer his phone, I guess, when people are trying to contact him.
Just
No one
leaving
knows if
leaving
that's
everybody on
like
red.
basically. You know, whether that's true or not. I know a lot of players came out and said like that's not true at all, but um it's been weird trying to follow them because our our own beat writers were so high on Sermon, and then like the day after preseason ends, he gets cut. So it was like they were looking at him. They're like, oh, he's gonna be RB1, RB2, like he's that good. And then he's gone. So it's like
To be fair with that, I think that was them trying to drum up some trade value instead of
possibly
just cutting him, because it's not like they did spend a 3rd round pick on him. So I think that may have just been Shanahan or Lynch trying to just find a partner. And when they didn't, they just cut him.
Yeah, so just to clarify, I'll let you know why I'm taking the Bears, and I it's partly because it looks like Kittle might not play this weekend.
Yeah, but just Kittle alone, like you still have
hold on.
Ayuk, you got Debo, you got Mitchell,
Yeah. But Trey Lance is unproven.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, he could go out there and ball out, right? And he could hang 40 on us. But I had to see him do it. And if he does it, then
no, I'm in the same boat. Like I that's why I'm kind of like I still think just like defensively alone, San Francisco kind of might hold Chicago to low score. It wouldn't be that hard at all, I think, for Trey to move the ball around with Debo and Mitchell. He was all throughout practice making really good connections with Ayuk, and they seem to have like a good tandem. I don't think that I think this is another game that's going to hit the under. I don't see it being a high scoring game, but I just don't see the Bears coming out with a win here.
So I definitely think the Bears can cover, possibly. I'm not taking the points though. I'm actually going to take the over of 40. The San Francisco front is going to dominate the Bears offensive line. That is for sure. But the way you counter a really aggressive front and a bad offensive line is you have a mobile quarterback, which Fields is. I definitely think the Bears can cover, possibly. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm not taking them. I do think that the new coaching staff is going to be competent, and it can't be any worse than last season. So they're probably still a 6 to 7 win team this year. But even without Kittle, I think the weapons that they have with Debo and Ayuk and the ability for them to probably take advantage of a young secondary. I mean, Jalen Johnson for the Bears kind of fell off at the end of last year. They've got some rookies that have looked good in camp, but they're still rookies. I know Trey Lance is unproven, but just talent-wise, he should be good enough. And he's also a mobile quarterback against the bad Bears defense. So I do think Chicago's offense, though, is going to be more competent than it was last year. So I think this over 40, like 40 is not a lot of points in the NFL. Like if San Fran hangs 28, do I think Chicago can find 12? Absolutely. Like I think they can find a touchdown and a couple field goals. So I'm taking the over. I'm also I would be taking San Fran to win as well.
The only homer that's going to come out of me is I think JJ is going to be one of the best corners in the league in a couple years. And I think it's going to be his coming out party this year.
Might be in a couple years, but that's not this game.
Well,
so
we will see.
We shall see.
At noon.
All right. I figured that one would be probably our most interesting one just because that's your guys' homer teams. Derek continues to just pick the money or the pick'em / money line, the safe bets. Maybe it works out for him, or maybe he falls way behind early. We'll see.
It's week 1, I feel like I can't accurately assume whether that's going to go, over, under, or hit the spreads. Like I need to see more, right, before I can start going that route. So honestly, I might be going just straight pick 'em on this one. It depends. I haven't put too much thought of it. I kind of think about it as we start talking about it. So,
all right, our next game. I was a very vocal Cincinnati hater for the majority of last year.
He was.
Slandered the Bengals, and that, you know, I was wrong. They proved me wrong. So Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati laying 6.5, over under of 44. The Bengals are a much improved team, which is crazy since they went to the Super Bowl last year. Their offensive line is much better, so hopefully Joey Bees is not taking 50+ sacks again this year. The Steelers have Mitch Trubisky starting, so I guess they get to play football this year, and we'll see what that looks like. But I don't like what it looks like for Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool and George Pickens, that's for sure. I will let Bryce start this one. Bryce, what are your thoughts on this game?
Let Najee Harris eat. That's what I gotta say. You run the ball down their throats, and then guess what? Let Mitch just make the easy passes, and you got a ball game. You might even say they might win.
Is that what you're saying?
No, because if you guys remember last year, a few of you might. I was all about the Cincinnati Bengals
until the playoffs when you abandoned your team.
I got a big head. I got a big head.
You should have rode him all the way to the end.
I should have. Yeah. I think I let your guys talk. Just finally get into me.
But the crazy part is I picked them to win in the playoffs.
I did too.
Yeah. After slandering them all season, I saw the light at the end.
That's what got me, because I was picking them all year, and then you guys finally did, and it was like, so.
And you're like, that's not right. That's incorrect.
But I think it'll be a close game. This will be my first just straight up pick 'em. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it could go either way.
So you're picking Cincy?
I think you're just picking both.
Yeah, I just don't want to pick. I pick a tie.
I'm picking Cincinnati.
Okay.
I think it go either way, but like I said, Jamar Chase touchdown, game over.
I'm in the same boat. I'm also picking Cincinnati. However, I will break off on this one. I do think I'm going to go with them in the spread as well. Just kind of, I did that wrong. 6/5.
Wow.
Wrong.
6/5 of a point. Nice.
Dude, if they can do that, then you win. You win.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't really have much to say. I don't think Pittsburgh gets the win here. I mean, Mitch might come out and look good, but not enough for a win, I don't think.
This is going to be our first full agreement on Pick'em. I also don't believe that Cincinnati will have any sort of Super Bowl hangover. It's a high-powered offense that should continue to just get better. Jamar Chase had such an amazing rookie campaign, and to think that that's not the ceiling of that campaign and that he has tons of room to be even better is kind of crazy to me. And Pittsburgh, like, PFF has them ranked as the 11th best defense. I think they're kind of a pretender in that aspect. Last year, they could not stop anybody towards the end, and they really haven't added all that much. If Minka's not making plays on the back end, like, I don't really think they're that good. So I'm also going to lay the 6.5 with Cincy. That's kind of crazy to me that I'm going to lay 6.5 in a divisional game. But I just don't think that even with Najee, it's a bad offensive line. It's an okay offensive line. They got better as the year went on last year, but I just have zero faith in Mitch. So I'm going to lay the 6.5 and watch Cincinnati win. All right, our next game, the Patriots visiting Miami, where they have had all sorts of trouble with Brady, without Brady, they seem to not be able to go into Miami and win. New England they still don't have an official offensive coordinator, I don't think. They have looked terrible in the preseason. I don't know if this is just Belichick just galaxy braining everybody and like purposefully sandbagging, because that would totally be a Belichick thing to do. But Miami has upgraded at nearly every single spot. Chase Edmonds, Tyreek Hill, the coaching staff, even though I think Brian Flores was a really good coach, I think he kind of got a shit deal, clearly. He sued the league, but Mike McDaniel should bring that West Coast, San Fran, Shanahan offense to Miami, which I think suits Tua. So Miami's laying 3.5, over under a 46. I know New England scored a lot last year, but I really think they've gotten worse. They lost a bunch of offensive linemen. Their only notable addition really was Devontae Parker. They drafted a couple speedster wide receivers who one of them broke his collarbone and won't be playing this year. So I'm going to take Miami and lay the points. I think Miami is going to, that's the wrong person. I think Miami's going to surprise this year. And I think there's a very real possibility New England could finish last in this division, even behind the Jets.
Yeah, I'm not gonna add too much to this. I kind of just fully agree with you. I have no faith in the Patriots this year.
This is what Belichick wants,
really
though.
To say.
It's what he wants.
I 100% agree with you. Like it does kind of feel like he's just tanking. Like Brady's gone. He doesn't care anymore. He's gonna give him another year or two. I'm sure he's probably gonna retire. Like it's tricky. But I'm doing the same exact thing pretty much.
I'll give you guys a prop out there. I have no idea, and I have no information if Devontae Parker hates Miami now, but he is playing with New England and the number one wide receiver. So I can imagine he gets a lot of targets, and maybe he gets 2 scores. So keep that in mind. But with that said, I don't trust New England like everything Rain said, so I'm going to take Miami and the points.
All right. We're in agreement in both. Makes me think we're all wrong.
That's kind of what happened last year.
We'll know for sure next week.
Yeah.
It's definitely what happened last year.
All right. On to maybe the biggest storyline game. Hammer the Pats. Yeah, I mean, we're all going to be wrong. It's all Belichick that is going to do this. So
I agree, Derek, by the way.
I have a very funny stat, and I told you guys this already, but for the show, the Browns have failed to win their last 17 Week 1 games.
That's nuts.
And it's just it's added to it. They're going 0-18 on Week 1 games, and it's like this game is going to be too fun to watch. I feel like Mayfield's just going to be just slinging, just dropping touchdowns every throw, and it's going to be glorious.
All right, so are you taking Carolina laying the points, or are you just taking them straight up?
I am taking just Carolina straight up. And you know what? I think I'm going to take them on the spread as well. That seems too good to take. It seems like almost too easy. Maybe I want to stay away from it, but I'm not gonna. So,
Bryce, would you like to go, or would you like me to go?
You can go.
All right. So I know we joked, and I said Baker's going to throw like 1 million touchdowns and all that good stuff. But the more I've looked into this game, I think that I'm actually going to take Cleveland with the points.
This makes my pick so much better.
Because I think that they're going to go into Carolina. I want to be wrong that Baker just shrivels in high pressure moments and gets into his own head. But I think we've seen it in Cleveland, and he led them on that crazy playoff run, and then he tried to play injured last year, but I don't know if Baker and CMC and DJ Moore match up all that well against the Browns defense. I think that Cleveland is going to be able to control the clock and run the ball. They have a great defense. They have a really good offensive line, and they have Nick Chubb. I know McCaffrey's healthy and all that, and Jacoby Brissett is a serviceable backup. He's proven it time and again that he can win games in the NFL. He's not great, obviously. I don't really love this game, but I think that a lot of the money coming in is on the Panthers and the Baker revenge narrative and all that stuff. But I think the Browns come in and win, and Carolina, Matt Rule could be fired after week 4 if they start 0-4. Like, there's not a lot of like must win week 1 games, but he's already on the hot seat. They've now had another trade for a quarterback in Baker. Like, they need to figure out what they're doing in Carolina. So I am taking Cleveland with the points. Bryce. Oh, your cam is frozen again. And we may have lost you. Derek is muted.
I was muted. I said he was frozen IRL.
He may. Did we lose him?
He's too stunned to speak. Yeah, I think we might have lost him.
Just full stun lock. Oh. We're back.
He's back.
Bryce, can you hear us?
I don't know if he can hear us, but we can see him.
Okay. All right. So every other pick, we'll just let you take a technical break, and we'll let this show be 4 hours long. It's fine.
My antivirus just keeps like saying, "Do you want to access it?" Like, I turned it on.
I'll give you a virus.
Jeez Louise. So I am taking Carolina. And like I said, I just think it's going to be a Baker, just a Baker coming out party. You know, it's his former team. Yeah. Well, you're not.
I'm proud of him.
I don't know, but oh my god. But I do know. I mean, Cleveland's defense has always been good. They got Myles Garrett. I just have a feeling it's just gonna be one of those games where the defense isn't all that good.
So let me ask you guys this. So like, home teams normally get 3, right? Or give 3 rather. So if this was in Cleveland would be favored by 2.5. So do you think that that's Vegas trying to bait people into this small line with Carolina, and that Cleveland is actually the better team? Because I think, like, top to bottom, outside of quarterback, they probably are the better team. But
I think possibly. I don't know if you listen to 670's Score, but Joe Ostrowski, who does like the bets, like all the spreads and stuff. I think he went back. There's a stat that stat doesn't really matter anymore. Going back to like 2017 or so, about the home teams getting 3 just because they're the home team.
Or giving 3. I'm sorry, yeah, giving 3.
Yeah. So like when it's anywhere over there, it's kind of Vegas telling you they don't know which way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Nowadays, so.
But we'll see. I also wonder if it's worth us tracking who has the best record when going opposite the other two. I think that'd be something fun to track.
Yeah, have fun with that.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm willing to put the work in. I'm committed. Unlike you.
I don't know. It's hard to look away from the fact that they've lost their last 17 week.
They're due. They're due. It's time.
But I don't think
they
it's
were
against
due
Carolina.
the previous
Like,
16 too, and they lost last year.
I mean, you say that like it's against Carolina, like Carolina's some good team.
They're not, but I don't know. I just don't see it.
I
just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be one of those like epiphany kind of things. Like it's just a former team comes out,
change of
down.
scenery. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the narrative.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go Oppo. Oppo. All right. Lovie Smith now running the Houston Texans, unjustly fired from the Bears after
don't break
going
my
10-6. Indy laying 7 on the road, over under 45.5. I think Matt Ryan is a massive, massive, massive improvement for the Colts. If Carson Wentz could support the breakout of Michael Pittman, you like how I was what?
Right.
About what?
Sorry. About my mic or my camera.
Does it freeze every second pick?
Yeah.
Hold
on, I'll fix it.
Okay, I will keep going. If Carson Wentz could support the Michael Pittman breakout year, then I have no idea what the ceiling is with Matt Ryan. Jonathan Taylor should obviously be fine and completely productive. I do think the Texans are going to be a lot better this year than they were. I think Lovey's a good coach. I think Davis Mills showed that he can run an NFL offense. Damon Pierce seems to be the fantasy darling at running back this year for like the mid to late rounds, especially if you drafted earlier in the year. He was a massive value. Obviously, his like ADP came way up in the last few weeks after he was showing out in the preseason. I don't have a good feel for this spread, actually. 7's a lot of points to lay on the road. And I think I'm just going to take Indy on the money line and just be done with it. I think if I had to choose, I would probably take the over 45.5, but I am just going to play it safe and just take Indy going into Houston, getting a win, but would not be surprised if Houston covers, which is why I'm just staying away from that.
Kind of in agreement with you. I do think that this is the start of something good for Houston. I don't think it'll be a whole lot in this season. I know both of us in our fantasy leagues were riding pretty high on Damian. And I hope he has a good year and drops many touchdowns for us. I don't think it'll be in this game. I mean, he potential to get one or maybe two in this one, but
if he gets two, I'm looking for trade partners for him, and I'm gonna try to upgrade.
Absolutely. But I'm also just going straight on the pick 'em here, just taking Indy.
In my work league, I ended up with Damon Pierce and Brandon Cooks, so somehow I ended up with both of Houston's top options, which does not bode well for my work league.
Nope.
Sorry, Bryce. Go ahead. You're back and you're good now?
We'll see.
Yeah, you're moving. I see you.
I don't know why it keeps happening. It's never happened before. But I think this is going to be a blowout, and I'm taking Indianapolis over 45.5. I think they might even hit 45.5 on their own.
Whew, that means lots of Michael Pittman touchdowns, I hope.
Oh, I was thinking more Jonathan Taylor, just running all over him. 3 scores himself.
All right.
Listen, for our sleeper league, if Matt Ryan wants to just start dropping bombs, I got him playing.
I have a question for you regarding Matt Ryan. Do you think he's an upgrade over Carson Wentz?
Absolutely, 100%.
An upgrade over Carson Wentz.
You know what's crazy, though? Carson Wentz going to Washington, we'll talk about it a little bit. That's the best quarterback Terry McLaurin's played with. That's insanity.
That is true.
I have a fun stat. Well,
we'll get there.
Interesting fact about that. So,
all right. New Orleans going to Atlanta. New Orleans laying 5.5, over under of 42. I don't really have a lot to say on this game. I think the Saints are just going to run the Falcons out of the building. Especially if Drake London can't go. He's been limited in practice, and the coaching staff has kind of said it's not serious, but he's been limited now for like 3 weeks. So I don't know if it's just them kind of keeping him in bubble wrap, but he's a rookie who's had very few reps. They have no other real options there. The New Orleans defense is a top 5 unit, and Jameis coming back, I think, and Michael Thomas being healthy and Kamara not getting suspended and being healthy, I think everything just screams that New Orleans covers the 5.5. So I am taking New Orleans laying 5.5. And if I could take the over as well, I would, but I can't. So I am just going to take the Saints laying the points.
I'm not going to add too much to this. Again, in agreement with you, taking New Orleans to win and also taking them out.
I'm intrigued to see Winston play. I hope, since I have him in one of my leagues, I hope he is a decent quarterback. I know he had those big numbers with also those big interception numbers in Tampa Bay, but I think New Orleans is just a better team overall. I mean, Atlanta's rebuilding and they don't have much there, so I will definitely take New Orleans, and I'll take the points.
We're all in agreement. Dangerous game.
Yeah, now they're going to lose.
It means the opposite is happening for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would definitely, anytime you see the three of us agree on a game, just hammer the largest bet you can on the opposite way.
Exactly.
Like, put your whole savings into it, honestly. Like, it's no chance that you lose.
All right. A game that I think is actually kind of interesting for a couple different reasons. So Baltimore going to the Jets. Baltimore laying 7, over under of 44.5. Zach Wilson will not be playing. They announced that Joe Flacco is going to be the starter. And
are
you good?
A sleeper pick, huh?
You're good. You're good. It might be. You might know where I'm going. We'll see. This is one of the only downsides of doing this show and doing everything for the whole week on Wednesday, because Lamar has said that his drop dead date for his contract is Friday, and I don't know if that means he's going to hold out or what. And he is apparently overweight. He came into practice this week at like 230. So he's like, I don't know what's going on with him and with this contract situation. I think either way, Baltimore probably still wins the game, because I know there's a little Joe Flacco revenge narrative going on, but like, he's been gone for so long now, and it should have probably retired.
Quite a while.
I have a hard time laying the 7 with Baltimore, and I think the Jets are going to be much improved on both sides of the ball. With that said, I am just going to hammer the Baltimore money line. I wanted to really take the Jets +7. Like, I really want to pull the trigger, but it's Joe Flacco.
If Wilson was playing, would you take him, or would you take them?
If Wilson was playing and I knew that Lamar was not, I would take the points. But I also think the line would probably be a little different.
I'm hoping this season's a little different. Last season, I was very low on Baltimore, mostly because every time I picked them, they lost, and anytime I didn't pick them, they won. So that was very irritating. So I will be picking them for this one, and just praying that it's not the same outcome as last year.
All right, Bryce.
So I know I said the revenge game with Baker Mayfield, but Joe Flacco is like 89 years old.
Yeah.
So once he gets sacked, I think he's done.
Might just turn to dust.
And then it's Mike White season.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So what I'm going to do here is take Baltimore.
Ooh, laying the points. Nice.
Yep. Okay.
Aggressive. I like it.
I think that's the biggest one other than San Francisco, and I went the other way on that one. So
I like it. All right.
I just think Baltimore's just a better team.
Yeah, I mean, their defense should be much better this year. They're healthier. We'll see. Hopefully J.K. Dobbins plays, but if not, like, they signed Drake, and I suppose Mike Davis is serviceable at running back for a game. and hopefully Lamar plays. Really, that's it. And even if he doesn't, like, they still can probably get it done, but we'll see. All right, Bryce, you said you had a fun stat for the Jaguars and Commanders game.
Yeah, so we all said Carson Wentz sucks, and that's true.
Objectively
But-
true. Yes.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, he loves week 1. It's probably because he's not banged up and he can walk straight, and So,
Well, last week one, he somehow is the only person in human history to have sprained both their ankles at the same time, and they did win that game. But I didn't know it was possible to do that.
yeah. So he just hit like all his stats after week 1, just a steady decrease. So what I would say, I mean, then I know they're playing Jacksonville, but watch out for Carson Wentz this week. And then I don't know if you guys saw, I picked him up just for that fact. I don't know if I'll play him.
Godspeed, my friend.
Someone said it'll be like over 20 completions, a couple of touchdowns to Terry. So we'll see if that happens. But speaking of the game, I think Jacksonville might pull it out. They're in a new offense. They have a good rookie running back, and James Robinson is healthy. They said so.
Yeah, second year running back who is playing his first year, but yeah.
So I could see. Oh yeah, because he tore his ACL last year.
Liz Frank, but yeah, or whatever that foot thing is.
Yeah. So I think Jacksonville will win, but I'm just gonna take it straight up because I'm not confident in that pick at all.
All right.
I think this is also going to be like a good starting point for Jacksonville. Their coach isn't physically assaulting them in practice anymore.
That's good. That's good.
And
they have an actual NFL head coach now.
True.
Yeah. I don't see them being great this year, but I don't see them being as awful as they were last year. I am taking them in the pick 'em, and honestly, I think I'm going to go with the under on this one. I don't see this being a high scoring game at all. It might be back and forth field goals, to be honest. I don't really see a whole lot coming out of this one.
So this worries me because I'm also taking Jacksonville, but I'm taking the points because I think they just outright win this game. The Washington defense is awful. They have an okay front, but their linebackers and their secondary is terrible. And Jacksonville's just got good vibes, like sometimes you just got to go with the vibes, like the Buffalo vibes that Matty had. And he said, with all that said, he's still betting Buffalo. Like
through tables.
I just have good Jacksonville vibes. They have an NFL caliber head coach. I think they may be in Carson Wentz's head because they beat the Colts in week 18 to keep him from going to the playoffs. And all Carson Wentz had to do was beat an interim head coach Jacksonville Jaguars team. So T-Law got that confidence now. He's got his college running mate and ETN back. Should be moving all over the formation. I think they light up this Washington defense, to be honest. And I would not be surprised if Jacksonville competes for a playoff spot in the South.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
And we'll get to it in a couple more picks, but it's because I think Tennessee is dog shit. And I think
they were the worst number 1 seed last year. So.
Yeah.
They were.
So I think if Jacksonville and Indy can beat up on the division, then I think they have a real shot at being a wild card team. All right. So that takes care of the Sunday early games. So now we're going to move to the Sunday late. And Bryce really wanted to talk about the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, so obviously Aaron Rodgers is without probably his best receiver he's ever played with, Devontae Adams. So who does he have now? It's remained to be seen. We'll see who steps up. And I just want to see, will he show us how great he is? Or was it the talent just lifting him up a little bit. I know he's a very good quarterback, obviously, but I wonder how much losing Devontae will affect him. Will they run the
Well,
ball?
they're out
with
Lazard
Aaron
too, aren't
Jones?
they?
He's questionable.
Or is
Yeah.
he still questionable?
He's questionable.
The Lizard
Um,
King.
The Lizard King. And then also Minnesota has a new, OC, obviously a head coach too. And supposedly they're looking pretty good. That's the word out of Minnesota. So is Minnesota's year to, take over the North with Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins? I don't know. But I think it'll just be an interesting game just to see Rodgers versus Cousins. It's kind of like it basically, it's like it's a new era. It feels like. So.
I mean, it's Kirk Cousins, but you've also got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Like those are two really good.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
if
good at
you're
moving the
gonna
ball.
put Adam Thielen. I think KJ Osborne would be the guy you wanna, who's gonna ascend
well,
to be
that
the
and
real number 2.
The Packers are 2-4 in their last 6 trips to Minnesota, so I was kind of feeling a little iffy on this one, but I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I think Rodgers is a good quarterback, but I feel like a lot of that was because of what he had around him, and with Adams gone, they're going to be running the ball a lot, and I think Minnesota knows that, and they're going to be putting some heavy stops on Jones and Dillon.
I'm taking Minnesota straight up.
All right.
I think
Also,
if it was in
same.
Green Bay, I would have taken Green Bay. I think it's like a toss up.
So I semi agree with what you guys are saying about Rodgers losing Adams being a big deal. Like I get it. It is. Like it's tough to replace that production with Christian Watson and Alan Lazard and Romeo Dubs. But it's not like he's had Devontae his entire career. He's kind of done more with less, almost like Brady, and has elevated the play of the people around him. Bakhtiari should be back, and I don't think the Vikings D is really that great. So I think even if Lazard doesn't play, I still think they'll probably split Aaron Jones out wide and use him in the slot and still probably be able to move the ball decently. So I'm actually going to take the over because I don't really have a good feel for the game. But I do think whenever these two teams get together in Minnesota, they just score points. So I'm going to take the over here. If I have to make a pick, I think I'm just going to take Minnesota because they're at home and it's a divisional game, and home dogs in divisional games I usually like. So I will just take Minnesota as the safe pick. They got the dog in them.
They got the dogs in them.
All right.
I think this might be the year where Rodgers realizes he probably should have just left Green Bay.
We'll see. He doesn't have a lot to work with, to be fair, but I think they can go more run heavy and still be. If Bakhtiari's back and Jenkins plays, I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty well, and they won't even really have to rely on Rodgers to do as much. And then that gives time for Christian Watson to come along and kind of get acclimated. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this game? I think Bryce may have wanted to say something else.
Oh, I was just gonna say we've taken the same team the last 5 picks. I know we've all we've done a little,
Better-
spread and over under.
Yeah.
But we got to change that, boys.
All right. It's my team now. So the Giants visiting Tennessee. Tennessee laying 5.5 at home. Over under of 43.5. The Giants have replaced their front office with Joe Shane and their head coach with Brian Daboll, ex-OC from the Bills, which we didn't even touch on in the Bills-Rams game. But that's another thing to kind of be worried about this year with them, is that they do have a new OC. So the offense may not be the same, especially right away. But so I liked what the Giants did in the draft. Unfortunately, it looks like Ojulari and Thibodeau will not be playing against the Titans, which are basically their two best edge rushers. it does look like Tony's going to play and Shepard may play. So here's where I'm at with this game. I think Tennessee is absolute dog shit. Their defense sucks. I think they are overrated offensively. Robert Woods on a bad knee coming off this ACL tear, and an aging Derrick Henry coming off a Liz Frank injury and foot surgery. And Treylon Burks, who's had an absolutely dog shit camp, and Ryan Tannehill should be replaced by Malik Willis immediately. So I am going to take the points with the Giants. I think they cover. And I think they go in there and just straight up win in Tennessee. I think Tennessee it has a good chance of finishing last in the South, at least until they make a QB change. Assault on my... I'm sorry, Matt. It's just, if it was in Green Bay, I'd be taking the Packers.
Listen, I'm doing this for Rad and for Rad only. I will also be taking the Giants because I agree. They're now, they traded AJ Brown. They don't have their best pass rusher. Landry is out. They're fucking dog shit this year is what I'm essentially going for here.
And I want to make it very clear to the people of the chat, I very rarely picked the Giants last year. I think I picked against them in all but 2 games. So I am not a homer. I realize that the Giants are a bad team, but I think Tennessee is dog shit. Like, actually terrible. Worst team in the South. Sorry, go on.
You think they go from first to last?
Yes, I think they're terrible.
100%.
Okay.
I don't know how they score. They have a terrible offensive line. They lost like 4 of their offensive linemen.
I mean, okay, but you still have Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but so the reason Derrick Henry's good is because,
we'll see.
I mean, he carried the ball like a million times, right? Yeah. But the reason Derrick Henry's good is because they did have a good offensive line and they were opening holes. So he's truck sticking safeties that are half his size.
He is a massive human being.
Right? Like, if they can't open holes for him, like, it's not like he's got like this great first cut. Like, he's got to work up that head of steam a little bit. And he doesn't catch passes out of the backfield. I don't know who they're throwing to. Like, I'm a big Robert Woods truther, or I was, but like, he's coming off another ACL tear. Like, there's only so much damage an aging wide receiver's body can take.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead and pick the Titans.
Man. So the only thing I'll say is I agree. I think they were overrated last year, and that's why they lost in the first round of the playoffs or second round, whatever.
Yeah.
And that is also with my last pick in our sleeper draft that I took Malik Willis because I think he will replace Ryan Tannehill sometime this season. That dude looked good in preseason. I know he's playing 2s, sometimes the 3s, but
he looks dynamic.
Sometimes you just got it, and he looks like he could be like the next Lamar Jackson. So, with that said, I'm taking the Giants.
Wow, no, that's terrible for me. I'm down bad. That is absolutely horrendous for me.
I am not. I'm not taking the over or anything. I'm just straight pick them right there.
When we agree on bad teams, I know it's going poorly for me with the Giants. I may as well just chalk that up. They're going to get blown out by 28. My Titan slander, which
gonna go off.
By the way, the Titan slander will continue all year, regardless of what happens.
The Titans were the Bengals last year.
Yes. Yeah, they're my new Bengals this year.
Okay.
All right, next game in I believe this is our second highest over-under of the week. The Chargers or the Raiders visiting the Chargers. The Chargers laying 3.5, over under a 52.5. Chargers, another sneaky Super Bowl favorite for a lot of people. They added Sony Michel as a legitimate backup to Austin Eckler finally, which I think is good because I don't think his body type holds up year over year as like a bell cow. So I think he's more effective when he can kind of come in and out of the lineup. JC Jackson is questionable for the Chargers, so that could mean a little bit of Devontae week 1 magic with Derek Carr. I don't think Vegas is a very good team. We've kind of seen how the Josh McDaniel head coach experiment goes. We'll see what he learned from his time going back to New England and now his second retread as a coach with Vegas. I think it is a big improvement for them. I think both these teams have weapons. I don't love the Raiders running game. I think Josh Jacobs is a little overrated. But let's start with Bryce, because you said you love this game. What are your thoughts here?
I think these are two dynamic quarterbacks, and yes, I do think Derek Carr will be a top 10 fantasy quarterback this year.
Whoa.
And I think Justin Herbert will be like a top 3. So I think this is going to be a shootout. I think Devontae is going to help out Derek. Maybe now he has Waller and he still has Renfro. So I think they got some weapons, and I just think that last game of the season between them was amazing. If it wasn't for the Buffalo Kansas City game that went back and forth in the fourth quarter, that would have been the game of the year. That
game was insane with Herbert and all those 4th down conversions.
Yeah. I think there was a crazy stat. It was like no one's made they made 6 in a row, and no one's ever made like more than 2 in a row.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was one of my favorite games of last year for sure.
I do think the Chargers are a Cinderella or a darling pick for the Super Bowl. I think Las Vegas is good, but I just think it'll be the same old. Like they'll win games that they shouldn't win, and they'll lose games that they should win. So, but for this game, it's a toss-up, but I think it goes over. I think I'm going to take the over. I know I'm going to take the over. What am I saying?
All right, over 52.5. And then what are you doing for your pick'em?
I'm going to take the Chargers.
All right. Derek, thoughts? Rebuttal?
I mean, I think I mean, Adams is going to bring a lot to the table, I think, and that might help Derek Carr shine a lot more than what he was last year. They barely scraped by and got into the playoffs somehow. They're just such like an average football team, but being a San Francisco fan, I hate them wherever they're located. So just out of principle, I'll hit a bunch of wrong buttons, and I'm also going Chargers.
I'm having a hard time between, so it's a divisional game and a close spread divisional game. I kind of want to lay the points with the Chargers. I think Vegas is probably the worst team in the AFC West. I think this is a stacked division, but I think they're the worst team in the division. I think they overachieved last year. I don't think Derek Carr really is as good as he maybe had shown at times. He's kind of just like a stat compiler for me. I think this Chargers defense is really good. They added Khalil Mack, who should hopefully not disappear like he did with the Bears last year. So my pick is for the Chargers. I think I don't feel super great about the 3.5, so I'm just going to take the over as well. I think week 1 over-unders are kind of tough in my opinion, but I think this is one of the few games that like I don't see any reason that the Chargers don't come out firing on all cylinders, which is going to force Vegas to throw and play catch up. So they should, even though the Chargers defense is going to be good, there should be a lot of points in this game. So I'm with you on that one. All right. On to the Chiefs and the Cardinals.
This next game just sucked. This is just going to be a suck game.
I don't know. I don't really know what to do with this. I've been on a Mahomes slander train, not because Mahomes is bad, more because I don't like Juju. and I don't like their receiving options outside of Sky Moore, but he's a rookie, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be like he's going to be rotating in and out of the receiver rotation. So it's going to be a little Mecole Hardman. It's going to be a little MVS. It's going to be a little Juju, and we'll see kind of what they are. And then obviously Travis Kelce probably leads this team in targets.
Why don't you like Juju?
I think he is a slot guy who can't win against top coverage. And if they play him outside, I think he's going to draw top coverage, and I think he gets smothered. He's never been able to be the guy. He was good when AB was there, and then when he should have been the guy after AB left, Deontay Johnson quickly took over as the guy. So I just don't think he's a 1. I think he's a decent 2. I don't know how good he's going to be after the injury. And I'm just not a believer, really. I think KC will still be pretty good. It's still Mahomes and it's still Andy Reid, and they're still going to find a way to get it done. This is more of a fantasy take, honestly, than this is like, I can see all those receivers. You're going to be constantly guessing which week is going to be the week for that guy. So like I could see all of the like actual receivers finishing under 1,000 yards. And you're just going to be pulling your hair out every week. It was like, oh, well, I guess this was the Sky Moore week. I guess this was the Juju week. And it's just going to be like that every week, which probably makes them a decently like dangerous team to play, because you're not going to know where the ball's going besides Kelce.
Right.
This is the highest total of the week. And I am pretty confidently going to slam this under. Kyler with no Hopkins. They added Hollywood Brown, but he's new to the offense. I know they played together in college, but I don't know what this is going to look like. Like James Conner is not going to repeat what he did last year. He was wildly inefficient as a runner. He just happened to score a lot of touchdowns, and he has proven that he can't stay healthy. So like, I don't know if they're going to rotate Eno Benjamin in. I don't really know what the offense is going to look like. Rondale Moore's banged up, and he was kind of supposed to be the 2. Zach Ertz probably isn't playing. So they're going to have like Trey McBride playing tight end. He's a rookie. He was like the top tight end, but like rookie tight ends are rookie tight ends. They generally are pretty bad. So I want nothing to do with KC laying 6 on the road, just because I don't know what their offense is going to look like either, but I will take them with the pick'em, and then I'm going to slam that under. Sushi bet that it goes over. Yeah, you're on, Rad.
I like, so I do a pick'em with my like my uncle has one with like 100 people in it.
Jesus.
And it's like basically you go through, you do what we're doing now. You pick, what team you think is going to win, but you add like point totals, and it's like 1 through 16 basically. And this is my 1 point game. Like I want to go Arizona just because like KC only looked good in the Bills game last year when they won, but like if you think about any game prior than that, like they weren't looking too great, kind of like they were slipping up a bit.
It was a weird season for them.
It was. I feel like that kind of continues. So I'm.
If you were ever going to take Arizona, though, it would be in the first 8 games of the season, because we all know they're dog shit in the back half. So like they are always dangerous. That's why I'm like kind of all over the place with this game.
And I think that's kind of like where I stand with it, is that like I'm going to start them out this year, see if they start strong. They don't have Hopkins, but I think they can still get the ball around.
AZ stinks.
I mean, like another gripe is like it really felt like Kyler doesn't have control of that team anymore. Just of everything that was going on. Although I don't know, they had the whole thing with his contract where like he had to force him to do homework basically.
Why would they leak that, by the way?
That's I was like, is he studying the fucking?
Why would you ever be like, this is a good thing to put out to the press?
And maybe that helped. I don't know. We'll see. That's why I'm with you, Rain. I'm hammering the under on this. I don't see it going more than 54. I don't even see it going more than 45, to be honest. But That's my thoughts on this one. It's going to be just a dumpster fire of a game to watch, I think.
Yeah, I think just before Bryce gives his take, just the amount of turnover for like both teams offensively, it just like, also it's week 1. Like I generally just slam the under in the highest total of the week 1 games just because like it's week 1, right? The offenses aren't fully up to speed yet. Defenses generally are healthy, can play a little bit better, but just with the amount of turnover for both these teams, I just don't really know what's going to happen. So Bryce, go ahead.
This will be our first over under we all pick.
Ooh.
Look at that.
I don't think it'll. Yeah, 54 is a high number, and with like you said, all the turnover for both teams, especially KC. I mean, you lose Tyreek Hill, and I mean that's tough. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like Kansas City will still pull this out. I don't like Arizona.
Just Maddie's going oppo of whatever we're doing, which is probably the safe thing. For you guys, Bryce and Derek, he's in my like keeper league. He's one of the guys from my keeper league. So he's out here supporting the homie.
Heck yeah.
There you go.
All right. I think that's enough about that game. I really don't want to talk about the Chiefs this year, to be honest, or the Cardinals. On to Sunday night. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bradys go to visit the Dallas Jerrys in a game in which Tampa Bay is laying 2.5 on the road, over under a 51. Last year's week 1 game between them was one of the better games of the year, and it was a week 1 game, really high scoring and explosive. With that said, this is my other, I guess, hot take besides Jacksonville being really good and Tennessee being really bad. I think Dallas is a dog shit team as well. This defense is due for regression. The chatter that Trayvon Diggs was one of the best corners all time, one of the best corners in the league, is just so overblown. He's got a lot of like Marcus Peters in him. Like the dude just looks to pick the ball off, and if he can't make a play, he's getting torched. So this defense is just ripe for regression. They're not going to turn the ball over at the same rate that they did. Brady, until he shows that he is falling off, is still basically a 5,000 yard passer. Chris Godwin practiced in full today. Mike Evans is dealing with his yearly hamstring injury, but he'll be fine. I don't really love Leonard Fournette this year. I think drafting White, I think he's going to mix in. But I am hammering Tampa Bay, giving the 2.5. I think that line is way too short. I can't type either. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bradys to cover easily. I think that line should be like close to a touchdown. Whoever wants to go next, be my guest.
I'm just curious. I wonder if the whole 11-day, break, and for whatever reason, if it's because of his wife, if they're really, breaking up or whatever the case may be.
Masked Singer, yeah, he was doing the Masked Singer.
That's what they. Was he actually though? Real quick.
I actually don't know.
Okay, so that's what a lot of people thought at the when it first came out, that he was going to be gone for that long, but now that came out that he's, like the stuff going on with his family or with his wife, whatever. I wonder. We haven't seen this kind of thing with Brady, so will this affect him on the field? That's what I'm wondering. Like, maybe not, or maybe it makes him go into like ultra god mode, and now he's gonna throw for 7,000 yards.
I don't know if like the dude's been playing at the highest level, literally, basically since he took over the starting job. Like, I don't know if anything affects this guy besides pressure up the middle. Like, that's the only thing that affects him. Like, it's kind of crazy how good he is.
I'm gonna go with my gut on this one, and I'm I have nothing to say about Dallas, but I'm taking him just for the fact of what I feel like his head won't be there. He might throw some picks. He won't be Tom, uh, two touchdowns or whatever they call him. I don't know.
I mean, Cowboys, they've lost their left tackle Tyron Smith, but I feel like the Buccaneers also have some big problems with like the interior of their offensive line.
And I'm taking the points with Dallas.
It's a good call. I think that's a good call, to be honest. Tom Brady's not one to run the ball, right? So he's going to be trying to throw the ball out a lot.
When you talking about last year, didn't you see him have those like early rushing plays where he's coming up smiling, looking like $1 million? It looks like he just had a facelift done, so he's going to be looking even better.
What was it? Last year they played each other week 1. The Cowboys lost by 2. Was it 31-29? And I want to think that happens again because it's touchdown Tom, and you can never count him out. But this opening game, I don't know. I think Brady should have stayed retired. I'm gonna be honest.
Wow.
Might be putting that in the wrong box, but I will also be taking Dallas on this one.
All right. That one, so the ones that I thought we would be different on, we ended up the same on. And then the one that I thought here that we all be the same on, you guys don't share my disdain for the Cowboys this year. And
yeah, it's just week 1. It could change.
I'll be brutally honest. I am done with Tom Brady, and yeah, that's where
I feel
I'm
like at this point everyone kind of is. Like in 2 of my leagues, Brady wasn't drafted until almost like the very end, and was taken as like a backup. Like there's like no trust,
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm actually surprised on that one. We'll see what happens now come Sunday night. All right. Final game of this week, the Monday night game. Denver going to Seattle, laying 6.5, over under a 45. Seattle is my pick to be the number 1 pick in the draft for next year. This is a dog shit team led by Geno Smith, maybe Drew Lock. I feel really bad that DK is going to be wasting a few years. I mean, they're going to take a quarterback next year. That's pretty obvious, but this is a pitiful team. They're going to try to run the ball 1,000,000 times because they need to fire Pete Carroll. And he just can't, he couldn't let Russ cook, and he can't get over the fact that he wants to turn around and hand it off 40 times a game, no matter who the OC is that he brings in. So I'm just going to hard take Dan. Yep. Denver minus 6.5 in the Russ revenge game. I think he comes out there and just absolutely cooked. Yeah, the one time he needs to run it with Marshawn on the one, he throws and gets it picked off to give Brady another Super Bowl. It is pitiful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lay the 6.5 with Denver. Don't have a good feel for the over-under. I'd probably lean the under just because I don't think Seattle can score. Denver's defense is good. They've got a ton of weapons for Russ. They've got 2 running backs. I mean, I know it's going to be mostly Javonte, but Melvin Gordon's still solid. And Sutton and Judy are very similar to the DK and Lockett kind of makeup that he had in Seattle. So I think he cooks, and I think Denver pretty easily takes care of business here.
I'm in agreement. I imagine Bryce is too. I can't really think of any reason why he would think Seattle would win this.
Is dissension among us?
I would be a little upset if there was, because I think there's something wrong with you. But
also, if you guys missed the beginning of the show, the Monday night game, we're doing double points for the Monday night game instead of doing like a lock of the week.
Yeah, last season, for those who don't know, we did a lock of the week that would give us an extra point if we got it right. But like Rain said, we are switching it up, and now Mondays are worth 2 points. But I'm doing the same thing, going with Denver on the spread and picking Denver to win.
Shock the world, Driz. Hack the planet.
All right. So everyone's saying this is a Russ revenge game, but they're not talking about Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll probably has disdain. He talks him up so much and everything. Like, I love this guy, but deep down, he wants to win this game. He's gonna pull out all the stops, and they're still gonna get rolled over. Bronco country, let's ride.
Bronco country, let's ride.
We need to get the Nick Cage in Gone in 60 Seconds gif for this game. Like let's go.
Dude, if I could take the spread and the over, I would.
Oh, you just think Denver gets to 45 on their own?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a slaughter.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement. I think Seattle will be very much in the running for the number 1 overall.
Sorry, I had you guys on the ropes, but not this time.
I really thought you were going to do it to us, to be honest. I was kind of worried. I was like, I think I may need to find a third host for this, because after a Seattle selection, I don't know what you're thinking or smoking, but I want some. All right. So yeah, that kind of concludes the show. You guys have any other thoughts about week 1? How the picks went? Any big surprises or?
I just hope the Bears are a decent team, and not like that they win a decent amount of games. I just hope they, are coached well, play well, don't commit penalties, and just, show promise for the foreseeable future.
I just want to say, quick round of applause for Rain putting together this new sheet. It looks beautiful. I hope everyone enjoys it.
It's much better.
I'm excited for the rest of the season. It's going to be a pain in the ass, I think, for us to fill these out every week. But you know what? It's for the love of the game.
It does look great.
It's so much better. It's so much better. I even got the little graphic at the top that does like the neon light thing. I felt really good about that. So I spent, I don't know, a couple days working on this. So it's put me behind on my WoW podcast to get that shit uploaded to YouTube. Also, I want to point out that Maddie is fading us on all of our picks that we went and locked in. He's taking Pats with the points, Atlanta with the points, Seattle with the points, and the over in KC, Arizona. So we'll
hey, at least someone will win.
If enough people start watching and participating, I would love to do like a us versus the chat line too. Like put in like the chat consensus basically like next to us to see how they do. I need to think of some ways to make that not so cumbersome, because like I don't want to do a poll for every game while we're talking about it.
Maybe just do like the late games.
We can always do just like special games maybe during the week, like our favorite games or something.
Yeah, or maybe do like the Thursday and the Monday, like the solo games for every week. Yeah, I'll think on it and probably have something for next week.
I noticed that there is no star next to my name
to
indicate that I am a champion.
Oh yeah, the 2021 champ. There it is. let me blow that up. I didn't want to cover your face, but that's the 2021 Pick'em champ right there.
Oh my god!
And this busted ass star.
I love it. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's incredible.
That's hilarious.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for participating as always. Chat, thank you for being here. This was fun. I'm so glad that football's back. You guys have no idea. I missed football so much.
Like the last few months, I just had nothing going on, just been sitting here staring at the wall waiting for football to start.
Yeah, I was doing some hockey betting and obviously got, into the cup finals and stuff, but it's just, there's really nothing like Thursday and Sunday and Monday night football. Like, it's just like, football's the best. It really just is. So this will be up on YouTube. Tell all your friends. I'll have it posted on socials and stuff. These are a little bit easier for me to get up on there because I don't do any real like editing. I just straight post the full conversation. But yeah, it'll be up on YouTube in the next couple days. So any last words before we sign off here?
No, good luck everybody. and let's have a good year. Let's see. Let's. Do we want to do a bet to see if anyone gets a perfect week this year, or do we want to not risk it because we're probably not going to do that?
I'm still gonna do my thing where I put $1 bet in to pick all 16 games for all 3 of us. Like I put all our straight ups in every week.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna continue to do that.
That's what I did when we start. Like not right when we started, but at the end, I kind of did that. Just if it hits, a pretty penny.
Yeah.
So, and it's only $1. So.
Right.
It's true.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you as always, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.